there, almost there. Anyway, so the party was seeking out information. They went to a library, essentially, an arcane library, where they found out some interesting information that they were seeking. Kaylin very much included, but also Emil. And after, Felix's, there was a thief, a young female thief in her teens that attempted to steal Felix's lighting stick. Dun, dun, dun. So it was a fun chase scene. So Felix caught up. He sort of let her off the hook there, and he asked her for, information, and I forget what else it was. It's basically set her up to meet him again, and she offered, like, if there's anything I could do or any relevant info I can give you or anything, just let me know. And awesome stuff. So yeah, let me check the die rolls and see who got the big
Still the die.
Oh, Malos and Felix. Clash.
Let them fight.
What are the mathematical odds of that?
Let them fight.
So small, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah. Let me see if I can. It does not going that one. I'm just going to scroll in so chat can see this. We've got 606 for Felix here, and 606 for Malos. That is wild. Okay, well, I guess that we'll do a sudden death. Let's make it extra interesting and just roll a D20 each. A single D20 for Malos and Felix.
Wait. We should use our real dice because we have cameras.
Mm-hmm.
We have, like...
Okay, we've got a 15, I think. A 15 and a 12. Oh, that's Malos. All right. Malos, you have tonight's inspiration.
Woohoo.
I'll just mark that off.
Finish him.
That was pretty fun. I can't believe you two died. That was insane. All right. So anyway, at the very end of last session, the party was headed pretty deep into the eastern side of the city. I think you were headed to the Forge. Does that sound right? Maybe
we were.
Yeah.
We were headed to the Forge, and that's when the guards.
I think I feel like Ormia asked the guard for something. But then she accidentally let it slip that a bunch of the Knights of Unity were looking for them, barged into the hotel and seeking them out. And that's when this guard sort of looked over his shoulder as he was talking to her and said, yes, thanks for following, Tom Taylor. And just gave a nod, and Ormia thought that he was looking at some of the other group members, but he was apparently giving a head nod to another couple of knights that were far behind the group that started. They heard the rhythmic armor clanging of another couple guards racing up to meet the party, and that's where we ended last session. So, what are we gonna do? Let's I have a map just to give you guys an idea of where you are in relation to this. I just need to... Nevik, thank you. All right. Here it is. I'm going to drop that into the old combat tracker. Hot minute to process. Okay. So I'm going to share out the map here in the background just while I open up some of these characters, and then I will do... Oh, right. Here we are. So I'm going to actually share the map out now. We'll get that so the viewers can see as well. All right, let me zoom out here so you get a little bit of a better idea. Now, Emil, mind you, rolled super stealth again. So he's down the street to the south and to the west in a dark alley there, which you can see for viewers down here on the left is Emil just hiding out. The guard number, or knight number 9 is the one that Ormia was face to face with. Around the corner, on the side, sitting on a box, was another knight. And the 2 across the way were coming out of that building with the hens or turkeys. I don't know. They look like hens. So that's a basic layout of sort of where everyone is. Brixie's in town somewhere. We're not sure. Oh, Malos. That's who's not out there. Because you're not in the combat tracker. Malos, you haven't gotten to do any battle yet. Oh, that's right.
Except dodge punches from my own party.
Yeah. All right, Malos. So you were. I'm gonna put you here. I guess that's who I have for your character. I feel like I got a token at some point though, didn't I?
You gave me this like man bun dude.
Well, we'll use that for tonight, and then I'll find the one I actually have for you somewhere, maybe on break.
Okay.
Okay, so you can place yourself around the party there, wherever you think you'd be. So that's what you all hear. The rest of you hear the guards clanging up. Oh, hang on. That's how'd we get a second one there? There should be this guy right here. And you should be able to move him.
I didn't see you already put me in there.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, the rest of you, have a little time to react because Ormia hasn't noticed this yet. She rolled a perception that was sort of garbagey. And, but the rest of you hear the clanging of a couple guards coming up behind you. What happened to Felix? And why is he unconscious?
I was going to ask.
There we go. He's like this mini Felix. All right, let me fix your status here. I gave you all a long rest.
Say when I hover over him, it says unconscious.
Yeah, I'm gonna delete that. I don't know why that's still on there. That's really strange.
Is he a zombie? No.
Plot twist.
He's dead again.
Revealed.
Now, Felix, you actually, with the last sleep you got, I think you're down to only 1 point of exhaustion, which is great. I'm gonna, while we're setting this up, I'll take a peek and see what exactly that entails. It's nothing too bad, though, if I recall.
It's like disadvantage and ability scores, but I don't think I'm with the party right now, Dan, if I remember correctly. I think they took off separately.
You got the Tinkerers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
you did, didn't you? Oh, crap and dagger, huh?
To be fair, I'm not sure if I'm there either because I was busy getting painted.
Right. Well, I'll say that you made it back. Malos, we'll say that because they were in the library for a while. And Felix, do you think that you would go back and find them after you were done? Or you didn't really get to roleplay anything in the Tinkerer's office, did you?
Yeah, I don't think I've reached there yet.
Okay, all right, let me pull Felix out. That's a good point.
Start changing your notes, Dan. Start changing the notes.
Yeah. All right, let me pull that out. So, yeah, it's M. Kaylin. We'll say Malos made it back because also, Kev, you haven't been in any battle, and I think there would be enough time, probably about equivalent amounts of time.
Okay.
So is there a dinner table for me to be eating at?
Nice. Unless you feel like you don't want to be there or wouldn't have gone back there or something, then that's fine too. I'm not going to take that away from you.
I'll head back. That's fine.
Okay. All right. So, group in the back, what would you like to do. Basically, Emersina, Kaylin, and Malos. You hear the guards clinking up.
I wouldn't do anything. I would just observe.
Okay. Did I lose someone in the call? Crapper.
No.
No, we added Sam.
Yeah, Sam.
Oh, okay, good. I'll get that fixed then. Whew. Hi, Sam.
Surprise.
Hi, I'm
Sorry.
Emil.
Yeah. How'd you do
Oh,
that?
shock.
The night's twist. Yeah. Right, and we don't have a way to add an extra. That's fine. I can still make that work. Not a problem. All right, so this is Steph's, and she's over here. Up. All right. So Malos, you wouldn't really be doing much of anything, and how about Kaylin and Emersina? What do you think you would do as you hear the guards approaching from behind?
Crap, that's right.
So we hear the guards approaching after the guard has told.
I had something I
Ornia.
wanted to say, actually.
Okay, well, you go.
And I thought about this last week, and I can't remember because I can't think right now. It was. I'm sorry. Speaking of the character, she's gonna say like, no, sorry, you misunderstood me. They didn't come into the room. They were just making we were on the floor. They were making so much sound. They woke everybody up. It was ridiculous. None of us were part of that.
I see. Go ahead and make a deception check.
Let's try out a new die. All right. That's a natural 20.
Ooh.
Nice.
So
nice.
deception overall is 25.
Okay.
Brand new die too.
Nice.
First roll.
The other guards approach as you're saying that. Well, unless while she's saying that, if Steph and Emersina have anything they want to do while she's you hear her saying that.
No, I think Kaylin would just listen and just.
Yeah, me too. I'm just gonna stand there and kind of and watch.
Okay.
Oh boy. That isn't all me.
The two guards from the back approach, and they just sort of slow their pace. He kind of looks up and then looks at them, and then looks back at you or Mia and the party members, and he's looking around now, examining each of you. You think perhaps he's playing over in his head, assessing you compared to what he may or may not have heard about the people that they were looking for. As the other guards sort of slowly walk up and stand behind the other two, and one comes up around the right side, from the right side of that building. Not
And
right in people's...
I'm readying an action to
Okay.
Draw my rapier if necessary.
Okay.
So if they start to get violent towards us, I'm going to draw my rapier.
Okay. Neat. All right.
But I'm trying to act casual.
Gotcha. All right. Well, are you citizens here?
No, simply visiting. We were here with another friend, and I don't know. Have you guys seen him anywhere? Have you seen him anywhere? I'm gonna look at the rest of the group. Have you seen him anywhere? He's, one of those people who just always wanders off and gets lost, sees something shiny, and just can't help himself.
Hey Dan, there's two of me.
Oh yeah, I'm still getting everyone sorted.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. What do Kaylin and Emersina say as Ramia kind of looks back?
I'm turning to you guys and talking to you now. Have you seen him anywhere? No, just constantly wanders off.
Kevin just shakes her head, trying to go along.
Roll another deception check. Well, I guess this is more like a performance.
Performance. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Second die, not so good. Still an 18.
Okay. Let me just check his. Kind of close, but I don't know what his modifier is.
New dice are doing well so far.
Okay. He seems to be considering things.
But it really was rather ridiculous how loud and how rude they were being. They barged into several rooms, and I'm like, she's just talking and like not giving him the chance to like think or consider anything. She's just kind of rolling over his thoughts.
Okay.
And I'm brain dead at the moment because I've been up 5 nights in a row with a sick baby, so
no.
I can't think. So that's what she's doing.
Okay.
Even though I can't do it right now.
All right. He considers, and he. Well, I'm sure if the knights were there, there was a sound reason for the disturbance. We do, indeed. We are on the lookout for a number of strangers to town, but it's fine. We can clear this matter up in a few moments. And tell me again, what are you? So. What is it you're doing?
And I'm going to start walking away.
Okay.
That's it. Because I'll just kind of like glance at the other guys, like, come on.
Are you heading north or south?
I'm heading the direction that we were going originally, which I don't remember what that was, but it was a direction.
Mm-hmm. That's south from here. So as you turn to walk, he kind of steps in your way. Ma'am, I understand you may be in a rush, but it'll only be a moment or two before we get the description of the folks that we're looking for. If you'll just remain with us for a moment, we can clear this matter up.
I do not believe this. Do you believe this? I turn to the other two. Can you believe this?
Kaylin shrugs her shoulders.
Nice. Caitlin's just so like apathetic to the like.
Kaylin, she's scared to do anything wrong, is what Kaylin is. She's like.
Ormia is not a very good, overbearing noble. Or Ormia is. I'm not.
Nice. And Emil, are you sort of just watching and keeping an eye? Oh, you might be muted. Oh, you are. All right.
No,
sorry.
I was thinking of it, but no, that's what I'm doing. Although, the alley that I'm in, is there like a back exit or?
Let's see. What's in this alley? I don't know. You see it go down about 80 feet, 100 feet, and it continues on from there. You think you see some?
So if things go south, I have an exit. Okay, no, I'll stay where I am and just keep an ear out right now.
Okay. All right, I'm almost done with the cameras. Yay!
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Nope. It's Discord that didn't want to work for me yet, but we'll get it. We'll get it all right. Okay. That's not right. So, I'm sorry I'm such a terrible multitasker here, but I swear I'm almost done.
No, you're good. It lets me sort my dice.
Oh, good. All right, that's just going to have to be fine for now. Right. You get this person. One of the he looks over your shoulder and sort of gives a head nod to one of the knights behind you, who turns and walks back into the building that he came from, and sort of steps out of sight into that building.
Can someone refresh me where we were going in the first place?
To the forge.
To
Like
the
a
fort. Okay.
Arcana shop.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. It's only, a moment or two later where you see this guard heading back out, and I think it would be pretty plain to see he has some unraveled scrolls in his hand that he's sort of clutching and walking over. Let me see, just to see how accurate they'd be. Okay. As he walks over, he gives like a nod. And so before he's returning back to his position, I imagine everyone's looking, so I'll say you all see sort of the nod of approval as he's heading back over. Is there anything that you all want to do before he resumes his position and starts talking or doing whatever?
Cast Pass Without Trace.
You don't see us. Yeah. Neat. He returns and says, well,
Hang on. Can I, seeing that, can I pull out, just kind of have ready my own, because I have my position of privilege, so I'm going to pull out my own paperwork to have ready to show, like, you can't touch me.
Sure. Okay. You've got that in the ready. Malice is it's all sort of beneath him anyway. He's like, oh, these matters will be sorted.
I would like to maybe do investigation. I'd like to evaluate the kind of equipment they're carrying, what kind of weapons they have, what I think of their armor, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and do an investigation check as you give that a scan.
That's a 1.
Oh, they're wearing armor and they have weapons. It's standard. I mean, what you just naturally see just from a basic, even a 1. They have that same tabard with the 5 swords into the middle of the circle. It seems like pretty decent armor, but you're not sure. Swords at the side. This knight returns to his position. I can't say one way or the other about... let me just think back to that night and who was... Caleb was behind the plant. So he points to... I'm trying to think of who they saw when everyone was in the hallway there. I think M had looked out the door, and Emil was hidden, and I think Caleb was behind the plant.
I was behind the plant the entire time.
I was in the back, just observing, so I don't know if they saw me.
I was super stealthy.
So he comes up and he says, "This one," and points toward Emracina. She matches the description. You're traveling together?
I beg your pardon?
Ma'am, we just have some questions for you.
You have it all incorrect. I'm sorry. She's my friend. We have been traveling together for nearly a year now? Is that right? I've lost count, and I cannot believe that you would just come up against these people who are visiting your fair city, and this is just the worst I have been treated ever since and I've been coming here for, ever since I was a little girl, so for decades now, and I cannot believe that you would attack one of my friends here.
The third guard is sort of shrinking back.
He's just going on and on, just like in his face.
Taylor's just nodding or shaking her head in agreement in the background. Like.
Nice. The third guard is the one behind next to Kalen there is sort of a younger knight, and he's kind of scrunching down and looking back and forth at the other guards, like, "But are you going to do something?" Like, and the guard says, "Ma'am, she's wanted for questioning.
You have wasted enough of our time. All I asked for was simple directions, and now here you are accusing us of illegal magic usage, and I'm sorry, but I am done with you. This conversation is over. Come on, let's go." And I push him aside and start walking away again.
Nice. Okay.
Kaylin walks right behind her.
Okay. The guards shout, "Halt!" And shing, you hear that familiar sound of unsheathed swords. "You're just wanted for some questioning at the Crucible."
Kaylin starts kind of putting her hand on her sword.
"We don't want to fight. It's our duty to bring you in for questioning. And then you'll be free to do whatever the council decides. If you have nothing to worry about, you'll be fine."
Kaylin turns around and she looks at them skeptically and is like, "Why do you have to bring us in for questioning? Why can't you just ask your questions out here? Because you're already making a scene."
"It's the council, ma'am. The council will ask you the questions. We are just the Knights of Unity. We will bring you there. We serve the council, and they will answer the questions. Now, please."
This is such a disruption to our travel. I cannot believe this. Ugh.
Are we being accused of something?
"It's my understanding that magic was used without going through the proper channels in your arrival here. Matter that should be easily cleared up with the council." Puts his sword back in. "Please."
Kaylin's ready to fight, but she's waiting.
I want to cast Pass Without Trace.
Sure. Okay. You you know what? I just have to roll something for that young guard while you do that. Okay.
Can I insight check that young guard to see like how fidgety he is about this situation?
You don't even have to. You can see he's pretty nervous. He's pretty green. And he seems to be pretty nervous about the whole thing. So, you're able to cast Pass Without Trace that gives everyone, I think, a +10 to any stealth checks they make. And I think it lasts for a while, like 10 minutes or maybe longer.
An hour.
Oh, nice, an hour. Okay, so you all have that benefit. As you're finishing the spell, she's casting something! She's casting a spell!
And I say, "Run!"
Nice. Okay.
And
you
as
hear
she
the swords
does that,
draw
I'm
back
going to
out.
cast Vicious Mockery on the one who just said she's casting a spell.
Okay. All right. That's night number 2.
So he makes a Wisdom save.
Okay.
We're still level 4, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that hasn't changed. This is not a very high DC.
Okay. I think that you can target him if you wanted to do this. Roll the save on him. So in your, because I know you're new to these spells. If you go to your actions tab and click the little under the cantrips, click the little magnifying glass for Vicious Mockery. It's right next to the red dragon.
Uh-huh.
And that opens it up.
Oops, wait, I don't think I did that right.
No,
I didn't. No, wait.
You just have to target him, then it'll do it.
Oh, is there a map up?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Which map is it?
Double click on your icon on your character sheet.
Oh, right.
Oh. Nope. This one? There we go. Okay, found it. Okay, night 2.
He's just to the north of you.
Control click. All right. There we go.
7.
Okay, there we go. Maybe. No. There we go.
Nice.
Dang it!
Ah.
Just by one.
What do you say to him? Because he's already pretty jittery. So
I'm just gonna. Just. What would she do? She's just gonna kind of do the haughty, like, I cannot believe you. I will be reporting this to your superiors. And then smoke cloud.
Shing, he's got a, he's like snap, like, oh, I gotta protect myself. I don't want to die. Like he's just really overreacting to the situation. But they've all drawn their swords, as Emersina said, run. I'm gonna say you can all before I roll the official. How do we want to do this? I mean, I guess she yelled run, so I guess everyone would sort of know what's going on. I guess roll initiative. Yeah, we'll all do some initiative.
Oh, that die was not nice.
All right. Do I need to roll for anyone today? No, I don't think
11.
so.
Do you roll a d20 for initiative check? Initiative? Is that what we roll?
D20 for everything.
Yes,
Okay.
a d20, and then add your dexterity modifier. And Emil, did you already put yours in, Emil?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Malos is a 4. Okay.
I have 18 plus 2, so 20.
Ooh,
Well,
nice.
also everybody has plus 10 to
Stealth.
Yes.
yeah. I got 11.
11. Okay, and Ormia?
13.
And Felix isn't here. No, and Trixie's not here. Okay. All right, so Kaylin, you go first. You are at the top.
Wait, so
Was
is
there-
everyone else running?
Is there a smoke cloud too? Like, Emersina, did you say that you did a smoke cloud thingy? Or
I don't think that's part of it. No,
No.
it's just
no?
A veil of shadows and silence masking us from detection, and anybody with magic can't detect us. I don't think they can't try to find us.
With which
Yeah,
spell
I
was
can't.
that?
Oh, hold on. I can't be tracked. Can't be tracked except by magical means. Sorry, I got confused.
Oh, no problem. All right, and that was the where is it here?
And we leave no
Pass
tracks.
without trace. Neat. A veil of shadows for the duration creature you choose in 30 feet. So everyone within 30 feet. Test plus 10 to stealth checks and can't be tracked. So if you get out of sight, they wouldn't be able to track you. In the meantime, since you're in the line of sight, they're there. So they've drawn their weapons and they spin on their feet to run, and M spins on her feet to run. So Kaylin, you're up first.
I mean,
We don't want to add murder to the list.
right. If they're running away, can I? Oh, I don't know. Oh shoot! I wonder if it moves faster than I do. My broom. I still have my broom in my inventory. If I can grab it and hop on it and fly away.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be an action to hop on it and speak the command word, and then you could use your movement to fly. What was it?
40 feet.
50? Nice. And you can go up, too, so. Room of flying. Check that action out.
Yes, flying speed of 50 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can move yourself 50 feet in any direction, or if you're going up, just subtract how high you're going from the, distance roughly.
Sam, where have our blankets gone?
What you do, you pull the broom off the side of your back and
Yes,
stand over it. Gryffindor.
Yes. I say Gryffindor. I was just trying to I was just trying to figure out like if I could. I think it'd be too heavy if I grab someone.
It would be a on the next turn. You could probably try and grab someone, and it's up to. It's 400. If it goes over 400 pounds, then the flying speed drops to 30.
I see that. Okay, so I'm just gonna just fly up and get it away from it, and then I'm only flying high enough though, so I can still keep an eye out on the battle below for my next turn.
Okay. So like 30 feet up, or do you go like the whole 50 feet straight up in the air?
I will go 30 feet up. I would say most of these guys have swords. I mean, they might have some arrows, but yeah, just go 30 feet up so that way I can still keep an eye on things. You
as you mount it and say the word, you fly up in this quick spiral up 30 feet in the air, and you're looking down. Okay.
I love it.
Okay, night 2. Let's see. Which one is that's the scaredy guy. All right, so Caitlin, you're up in the air. So he's not even there. Racina, since you're the one that is technically, I'm just going to move you a couple spaces over here, Caitlin, since you're like up in the air. Just move you over. So this guy closes in on Emercina. He's going to try and, I don't know, this is the one that is a Folio. Let me just do a quick roll to see how this guy, if he's going to do what was trained to do. Okay, he's going to do what he's trained to do. He puts the sword back in the sheath quickly and goes to grapple you, Emercina, instead of attacking you, which is better. So, M, if you can roll either in athletics or acrobatics, whichever one you want, he's going to roll.
I'm gonna cutting words his grapple.
Ooh, okay, nice. All right.
I'll do acrobatics.
-3, Dan.
Okay, that brings him down to. What was yours, M? Oh, you're deciding. Okay.
Acrobatics, and I got a 5.
He got a 4 thanks to cutting words. So he's still busy, kind of stumbling, putting his weapon away as he tries to grab you, and you just take a quick step back, like in the very last moment, and just kind of bop him on the back of the head with your elbow as he falls past you, stumbles past you. The main one that was talking beforehand, I think he'd try and grapple, probably, I don't know if he'd go for Amir or Emercina. He's a little better trained. I think he'd go for M because he knows she's the one that was sketched. So go ahead and choose either again, Emercina, and roll again acrobatics or
I'll do athletics this time.
Okay.
Eight.
Okay, got a 15 this time. So this one that seems to be possibly outranking them, or at least a veteran, comes around as you kind of whack the other guy on the head. He just sort of slips under that arm and behind you and holds you from behind with your, by the back of the head like that, with your arms sort of locked up behind you. Halt! That's the end of his turn. Ooh, Emil, you're up next.
So we're in the city streets and guards are yelling halt at me or people that I'm associated with. Never happened to me before.
Emil's like, this is every day, guys.
It's like, can we not do this again?
I think I'm getting us into more trouble.
There's a number of citizens walking through, too, that are sort of like, some of them are stopping to look, other ones are racing away.
Emil is going to move quietly but quickly westward down the alley and just try and get out of the fight. He just does not want to be associated with this fight, doesn't want to be associated with his party right now.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to escape without being seen and get lost in the crowd.
Okay. you manage to do so with a dash. You start heading down that alleyway, and you won't come across anyone down there for the entire duration, and then you can easily blend in with the crowd. You were never spotted to begin with, so you hustle out of the other side, and then just blend in, walk down the streets, and head back to wherever it is you want to head to.
Okay.
You hear in the distance a whistle blow. Super loud. It's one of the guards here standing behind Emersina. Let's see. Oh, there's another knight. Okay, the other one behind Emersina. Let's see. Kalen's up in the air. I guess he would come around and Malos. He's going to try and grapple you. So you can roll either an athletics or an acrobatics.
That is an 18.
Oh, which one is for you guys? That's I don't know if you can see that. Roll the 20.
Oh, well then.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah. So for anyone, the party really hasn't seen Malos engaged in battle yet, and he is very nimble. And he takes a leap back, and this other guard just happens to be sort of familiar with this maneuver and quickly insteps and almost trips the back of Mouse's foot just so he can get him, grab his hand and twist it around in sort of like a pressure twisting way, where Mouse, you're just held, you can't stand up against the pressure being applied to the elbow and wrist. He has you in sort of a lock. Halt! He says to the others as he turns back. And Ormia, it is your turn.
Oh. This is a difficult decision. Okay, so how many guards are holding on to M?
There's one guard holding M and one holding Malos, and then another two that are just there. Haven't been able to do anything yet.
Okay, I'm gonna go over to the one holding M and just kind of just try to shove my way into the hold, just kind of push him away from her and just calm down. We'll come with you. I just do not appreciate being accused like this.
Okay.
And I'll elbow him in the face really hard if I have to.
Nice. No, you go in, and upon hearing that, the guard that has M is actually the one that you had been talking to. So as you push your way in, he sort of, all right, Ben. And they release Malos, and they release Emersina. As you hear a little more chink, 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 chink in the distance.
I'm gonna kind of glance up at Kalen and just kind of tilt my head, get out of here.
You see that? You've been keeping an eye, Kalen. So.
It's go.
Yeah.
The fewer of us here, the better.
I started kind of slowly backing away.
Okay. Till you're just a dot in the sky. You continue, flying past a few of the rooftops there until you're out of sight. They seem to have.
Is there a way that I can go maybe behind a rooftop to try and still keep an eye on which direction they take them?
Make a stealth check if you still want to keep an eye on them. You can fly past that and sort of circle back. But I guess make a stealth check. You don't. Oh, thanks, Lauren. Yay. You don't have to do it at disadvantage because you're on a broom, so your armor won't be a factor up here.
it like that.
And you're in a busy city, so.
So what? No, what did you say, Dan?
You don't have to roll it at disadvantage. You can just roll it normal because your armor doesn't matter if you're on a broom.
Right. And then I have, and then wasn't there plus 10 to stealth?
There is. Yep, thanks to Emersina's spell.
Okay, so good.
Nope, sorry. You have to be within 30 feet of her.
Yeah, nabbit. Okay,
sorry.
So I rolled a 4.
Okay.
I rolled a 4, then I get plus 2, so it's a 6.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
And then they
got a 5.
Yeah.
So you seem to escape notice as you fly slowly from one house to the next. You fly over and slow down, and it takes a little getting used to still in the broom, but every time they make it down a house, you kind of scoot up and try and follow.
Okay.
They seem to be heading further south.
Okay.
So we have in tow then only Ormia, Emersina, and Malos. It's still a fair bit of a hike. It's numerous blocks to the south from here. But you get a feeling you're getting pretty close as you see a number of different chapels to different deities and such. And then this really large, almost like a Colosseum type area, not as tall. There's only maybe 20 feet high of between the very first row that steps up. It goes about 5 feet back and then up to the next and up to the next. It's about 20 feet high in the back. Large pillars around the interior of the seating and the exterior that lead up to this grand semicircle stairwell. All beautiful marble, the pillars out front. Fine, architecture, very gosh, I'm not sure what the term is, but it looks very much like a church. It's what you expect as you travel through richer areas and attend any of the churches there, the well-to-do churches. They walk you inside, and
they haven't like cuffed us or anything.
They have not.
Just...
Since
okay.
you said that and we're willing to go, they have treated you fairly respectfully, not the level you're used to, of course, as a noble. They seem to be discounting some of that for Malos and you. But
I'm just going to kind of lean over to Em as we're walking and mutter, I'm sorry. This is all my fault.
I was also willing to go alone if need be.
By being escorted by a guard?
Essentially, I mean, they have you walking in between a number of them. Everyone's sort of grouped, but walking freely. No one has their hands on you.
Right. The one in front of me, I will talk to. You there in front of me?
Sir, yes.
Yes, you. And I kind of reach down to my waist. How much to make this go away?
Ooh.
And he kind of looks at the other guards. I'm sorry, so you perhaps can take that up with the council.
But I'm talking to you.
And he stands up straight in a soldier's and starts doing like his soldier's march.
Perhaps one of your other friends will be more amicable.
You know what? I'll do a quick. The guard that did all the talking initially with Ormia comes up, says, "What are you willing to pay?"
I hold up my big bag.
He holds his hand out.
I hand him 50 gold.
He takes it, takes a few steps back, and continues marching everybody.
We'd better make a turn up here. Do you not understand how bribes work? Are you an idiot?
I just facepalm that he actually said it out loud.
He walks up really close, almost like half a step behind you, and with the hilt of his sword just sort of unsheathes a little bit to whack you in the back. I understand quite well.
They're gonna add that to what else they have on us, whatever it is.
Keep marching.
I grasp the handles of my axes as if I'm considering something.
Okay. He chooses to do that and takes a half step back just to be prepared.
I will remember you. And I keep walking.
Neat. All right, and then you guys arrive at that, past the Coliseum area and into the main entrance to this building. You head down a few hallways as the air is nice and cool in here. Before two massive wooden doors, very ornate decorations on it, a lot of fancy woodwork here. And there are a number of guards outside, Knights of Unity. The one that just was a total D-bag just raps, the council's been assembled. And they're like, well, no, sir, not yet, but we can. Shall I? Please, they'll want to see her. Points to Emersina. So a couple of guards run off down the hallway, and you have to wait out there in the hall for like 25 minutes. Like the super annoying 25 minutes. Before finally you hear a little bing, 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 bing bell from inside the room. And the doors are opened by the guards. And you step inside. It very much looks like a courtroom, and that it has a number of pews along either side as you walk in. This narrow hallway, and then this little small gated half wall that opens up and leads you into the rest of the room. A large, again, sort of a semicircle table stands before you at the other end of this room. Really tall, those cathedral-like windows of stained glass, one for a number of different, one for each deity. There's 5 different deities up there. You also see, let's see, from left to right, sitting at this table, you see all the way to the left a male gnome. Looks to be a little past middle age. Coal black hair and beard with this really large groomed mustache that kind of loops up at the ends. Very circular eyes, and they seem to have this like a natural bulge to them. It's a little off-putting. Next is a female human. She looks like maybe she's in her 60s or so. Faded red hair and a formal braid behind her head and down her back, and really sharp, bright, honey-colored eyes. In the center, you see a human male. He's fairly elderly, probably late 70s, early 80s, so somewhere around there. White hair, in this tall, standing, like 1.5 foot tall, standing ponytail with a big, like a metal almost clasp on it. This finely trimmed, really short white beard. Faded green irises with this heavy, sagging brow that kind of covers the top part of his eyes. Next is a high elf female. She has the appearance of a human in her 40s, since it's kind of hard to tell with elves. Long platinum blonde hair and this really intricate bun atop the back of her head. Thin blonde eyebrows above like striking crystal blue eyes. And then on the very right is a male dwarf. Looks to be a little bit past middle age as well. Salt and pepper hair with a bunch of intricate filigree throughout that sort of binds these different braids in his hair and beard. Giant bushy eyebrows that hide dark brown eyes. A cold scowl rests comfortably on his face. Standing on either side of the room, not at the table. On the left, you see a female Goliath. She looks like she stands about 8 feet tall or so. No hair, spattered black tattoos that run across her face and her arms and her legs. Numerous weapons strapped across her back, with this eager, almost like a grimace on her face as you walk in. And lastly, standing to the right, is a half-elf male. Looks like a pre-adolescent boy, maybe 10 or 11 years old. Straight brown hair that sort of just drapes slightly into his eye line, and really clear light blue eyes, just to kind of set the scene. It's it's morning.
Midday or something.
Yeah, so there's a lot of light. The sun has come around where the light, you can see all the sunbeams sort of striking through the clear parts of the glass, and the beautiful colors shining through across these people and out onto the floor that stretches before you. It's a black and white checkered floor as you stand before these people. The human, very elderly human male seems to address everyone first, looking up under the saggy eyebrows. So, you have been brought to the Crucible for questioning. Please tell me, are you the group of people that arrived in Blackrock Landing through the magic circle?
Was it a magic circle?
Yeah, it was a teleportation circle.
Because we didn't use a teleportation circle technically.
He watches you for an answer. A simple question, certainly. Was this you, or was it not?
Why should we talk to you? You have no authority over me.
We are the law here, and you will do well to answer.
If we were, is this a problem?
It could be, depending on your reason for being here and who used the magic and in what manner it was implemented.
It's a very long story, and if I tell you the truth, I'm not sure you would even believe us. So I don't know exactly how, how much it would benefit us. I'm here as a visitor. I really don't want to be thrown in jail because of an accident.
Well, if we find that you, and he takes a moment, he sort of, you catch him looking at your noble signet, you and Malos at this point, and then he's checking Emersina as well. Should we find that there's nothing well, my brain's blanking. Should we find your intentions to be true and honest means of magic used to arrive here, then you have nothing to fret.
Real quick, is the what was it called? The The thing that brought us back? Was that consumed? Does it go
Token of
away?
return.
Token of return, yeah. Does it go away, or do I still have that?
You still have it. It's just inert now.
Inert now.
Mm-hmm.
How big is it? Is it something I can, like, flick a coin?
Yeah, it's probably like the size of a silver dollar.
Okay. If I show you how I got home, will you let me go?
Perhaps, perhaps not. I imagine it would be in your favor to show us, though. Certainly.
If it will get me on my way. I take out the token and I flick it to him like a coin.
Okay. Fling, 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 fling. It sort of bounces just shy of the table. Well, I see. Looks at one of the guards and sort of, does a head nod to him. The guard runs over and picks it up and places it before him at the table. Token of return, I believe, and passes it to the human female next to his side. Looks it over. Yes, this is not very easy to come by. He turns back to the two of you. And what is your purpose for traveling here?
It's a waypoint for us. We were in the Feywild, and we needed a way to get home, and this was our way back to the prime material plane.
I see. Well, I feel that this is still rather suspicious. Magic to be used in such a flagrant manner. Surely you must have been familiar with the rules here in Blackrock Landing regarding the use of magic, and
we weren't even aware of where this token would take us. We met him, and I point to Melos, in the Feywild, and he said, and he had our way home. We didn't know, and of course, being the useless like that he is, he doesn't know where it came to. Had we, known, we would have gone through, of course, the proper channels.
I see.
This is all just a big misunderstanding. We were just trying to get back to where we belong.
Well, I feel that... How do you all feel? And he looks back and forth at them. And you see them acknowledge... Their faces are acknowledging some form of communication that you don't hear. But they seem to be having some sort of discussion telepathically. I don't think anyone's has the spell, so I don't know if anyone would recognize it. But yes. Well, perhaps should one of you or some of you be able to here in the Crucible, the Church of Unity here brought the good people of Blackrock Landing and Kaitin Kai up from the rubble. Those that had nothing, we saw that they had clothes on their back, food to eat, and have done so for nearly 50 years now. And does
that match the history that we know?
Yeah. That's how they gain the power and prominence they have today, but you also know that in recent years, past decade or and a half or so, they've come to be such a power that they created this force, the actual Knights of Unity. They have like this force now with them. And it isn't quite the same humane, let's give. They still do give and such, but they're really pushing their way of thinking on people. It's not without its cost. So should some of you be able to find a way to make a handsome-sized donation to the cause, of course, then perhaps we could find an easier way out of this mess. Find a mutually beneficial means
Why
to
don't
it.
you ask your knight if he would like to make a donation? And I point at the one who I gave the 50 gold to.
He's sort of standing back by the door, stands at attention. Perhaps we should just have them interrogated. This is when the young boy. Well, actually, let me roll and see. Okay, the Goliath just takes like a step or two forward, almost cracking her knuckles, and has this expression of kind of glee on her face. So the boy speaks up. So no, please. Consider allowing me to use my methods, if you would, before turning them over to her, please. I feel that I would have much better outcomes, and these seem like good people, and I feel that they should be treated as such. Please, I can get the answers, any answers we're seeking. The old man sort of looks back and forth between the two. Very well. Use the office to the side here. And a couple guards open up another set of double doors off to the side, and a couple come up and sort of start ushering the three of you over to that room. The young boy walks ahead of you all. And as you're all ushered in, that'll be all. That'll be all. I'll be able to handle this from here. Thank you. And the guards reluctantly nod and shut the door. So it's just the three of you, this boy, and the guards outside the door. It's a room about a quarter of the size of the room beforehand. And this boy looks up and says, I'm sorry for the rough greeting. My name is Kylos, and I'm the liaison here between the different heads of the church, the council. I couldn't stand to see Glaric do the interrogating. She's very brutal and is really last resort. I know that the council comes off pretty heavy, but really they just we frown on the use of magic here without regulation and guidance set forth by the doctrines. And
well, as I said, had we known, we would have definitely gone through. I have been telling the truth this whole time. If we had known that where we were going, we would have come here. I thought we would have been going more down south, closer to some other cities, my hometown, other places. I thought we would be heading towards there.
I believe you. I do. The council can be very wary of strangers and borderline paranoid at sometimes. So you're from a neighboring country, are you?
Yes,
Sort of kind of flicks his beaver hair out of the way.
What's the city?
Oh, you're from Zambora.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a very long week. Oh,
no
boy.
problem.
I seriously have not had any sleep in like 3 days.
Oh.
My poor baby has an ear infection in both
Oh,
ears.
those are brutal.
Anyways, yeah. So, I'm from there.
Ah,
And it's like I have the proof of that if you would like to see it. Thank you for taking our side.
yes, if you don't mind, just so I can substantiate that when we head back out.
I'll show him my my locket with the signet on it, and then
Okay.
I'll hand over my papers.
Oh, yes. This all seems to be in order. So you say you weren't aware of where the token of return was going to bring you. May I ask how you came across the token, if you weren't sure?
I look over at Malthus.
I was on safari. My parents said, take this with you when you're ready to come home.
I see. And you can see he just gets it after hearing you talk for like a couple seconds. Yes, of course. And the pictures I shared are Kylos,
Yeah.
and Glark. The what's her name? Yeah.
This sounds like you need to be like gargling
Clark. Yeah.
Kylos is adorable.
Yeah, he looks so cute. He's a little kid. Yeah. So he says, "I understand, but that makes sense." And is it just the three of you? We had reports that there were 6 or 7 that came through.
There were a few more.
Understood.
Should just kind of count 4 more. 4 more.
Ah.
4
Okay.
more.
That sounds right.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
4, right? 3 or 4 more. That's me. Just. I'm so tired.
Well, I would just ask that you consider being extra careful with any use of magic. The council and many of the Knights of Unity can be a bit overzealous. With good reason, good heart behind it. The use of magic, when it is not monitored and properly taught and regulated, it can cause such damage and such heartache and such danger. And there is this reasonable side. I know you might not strike many foreigners as such, but before the Church of Unity, the magic was used by the nobles to oppress the people, to enslave many, and just to keep the middle and lower class down. And so it's become part of our mission to fight back against that, make sure that doesn't happen again. And
but it would seem that things have gotten more intense recently.
We proposed some years ago to the nobles that we be allowed to govern the people, as we are the true face and representation of the people, and we wanted to open talks by saying we would keep the noble class as figureheads. They would still have their prominence and their wealth, but the decisions would be made by those that truly represent the people. And they...
Insight check.
Okay. Yep, go ahead.
How did you come across becoming a mediator at such a young age?
That's another natural 20.
Ooh, nice one, man. Okay.
Yeah, where'd you buy your dice? Can you get me some?
Skull splitter dice.
Nice.
That's a 22.
Okay. All right. So you read his
Second time
face
it's rolled a 20.
as he answers that, and you can tell that he's being genuine. thus far, he seems to be just recounting things instead of fabricating anything.
So it's as he believes it, at least.
Yes. And M, you asked, how did he come across what at such a young age?
How did he come across becoming a mediator, basically, at such a young age?
You see him swallow for a minute, lump in his throat.
Before he's 311.
Well, part of it is I'm not actually the age that you see me as here. I was a liaison between nations before an ambassador, and I'm also a poster child, ironically, for the regulation of magic. As I lost my family due to wild magic being used, and I was altered into this form. And it's been explained to me anyway that my youth is from the life force of my family. As they lost it, I gained it. And it's a bit difficult to live with, but does put me in a very powerful position to mediate between the people and the council, and between the 5 council leaders.
I'm gonna insight check him.
Oh, good.
Yay, I'm not the only one who does it.
17.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Yeah, it was a really heartfelt tale that he had a difficult time telling.
Why you, though?
I was an ambassador before, and I...
An ambassador to where, if I may ask?
Mostly up to the remnants of Tegradoth, which is the continent, the northern continent with the Dragonborn. And some kingdoms down the western coast. So that was many, many years ago. I know how this city must look to those to foreigners and those visiting, but you must understand the history of this place and the oppression and the magic behind that. And we certainly don't wish to do away with magic. It's part of the world. We just wish that there were guidelines for those. Selection of those that could learn it, and institutions that are regulated and what they teach and how they teach and to how many, so that terrible incidents like the one I faced don't happen again.
I understand that, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. However, there is such a thing as taking it too far. I believe the taking it too far has been in our case. We have been basically brought on trial for something we had almost no control over.
I understand, and I do apologize. There have been others that have gained access through the Teleportation Circle that have come here to undermine our authority on behalf of the nobles and the other factions of people that don't see eye to eye with us, common folk. And so we must monitor.
But was
this.
it really necessary to send knights in the middle of the night? I can understand having someone come and question us, the next morning, and I understand that we arrived somewhat late, and I do apologize, but the way it was handled, I feel, could have been a little bit better.
I agree. That was Thoradin's doing. He has zero patience and wants matters resolved immediately and has very little tact. He's sorry, he was stored in LifeSpark. He was on the far end of the table. He's the dwarf.
Now it makes sense.
Well, I don't wish to keep you any longer. That sufficiently answers questions, and I can assure the council that there is no ill done here. I would ask, should you consider it, it's difficult to find good people, especially those that are impartial and not involved already in this front. I have a task, a request I would like to ask of you. I can't ask it here, but would you be open to a further discussion in the future?
I kind of glance at M, just like, I'm willing, are you?
Might I ask you one question?
Yes, certainly.
What is your true form?
I am a high elf. Just, I was in my late 50s beforehand. This is how I looked when I was...
Like late 50s, as in like human age late 50s, or like actually 50s?
For half elf, so probably...
so a lot older than me.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is me. This is the true me. I assure you, I will not ask you to come back here to the Crucible. I will meet you on fairer grounds than this. So more comfortable.
Kylos, I don't trust you, but if we are willing to help one another, I would be willing to listen.
I'm certainly willing to help after this help that you have given us.
I thank you.
I see that as a fair exchange.
You are kind souls.
Whatever gets me back to my party.
Can I backhand Mellows?
An air
I tried to
backhand.
punch him and I failed.
Yes, it is time, isn't it? Thank you again. Please, let's...
Time for the
Rolled a 3.
Oh my god.
I'm untouchable. What
He
can
just
I
sort of does like a...
That's still a 9.
Nice.
Still doesn't hit.
Nice. Just sort of just to
That was
lean
the
back
time
again.
that like 2 20s rolled for.
Oh, I
Just
don't
kind
have
of like
these
play
things.
it off as playful, just like,
Yeah.
you're an idiot.
Nice. Kylos raps on the door. Guards, we're finished here. And they open up the doors, and you head back out to the other room. And he says, "There, I'll fill you all in. They are certainly good to go, and of no threat." Well, yes, they're all standing. They're up out of their seats, sort of in a little huddle, talking. Yes. Very well then. And they sort of start to break off, some of them, and they walk in a couple of pairs, plus Thornton that's in the lead just by himself, sort of grumpily heading out.
I
of another
glare at
doorway.
him.
Nice.
Just like, you interrupted my sleep. I got my eye on you.
He's sort of like walking away, but you can see some of his eyebrows sticking out of the side, as he's hopping away. You're escorted back out, and out past the Coliseum area. On the way back out, not being let in here by guard, it's a pretty beautiful area. There's a number of these sort of gargoyle-like creatures. They have almost the body of a lion with these big eagle-like wings, but the face of like the creepy goblin sort of gargoyles that in Gothic architecture. But they look beautiful here. They're chiseled out of some stone that has a very bright sheen to it. And you appreciate some of the architecture as you're let out and released back into the east side of town. And I'm just going to quickly jump to some of the other players that have see what they've been up to while you're in there. I'll start with poor Felix. It's been gone like the whole time. Oh, you know what? No, I won't, because it's break time already. So we'll take our bio break, and then we'll come back. And then we'll just check in with some folks and see what's going on, and maybe get into some more trouble or some more fun. All right, we will be back in 5 to 8 minutes. Get you then. Here we go. We're sort of back. We've got a couple folks that'll be back in a minute, or Kaylin. But in the meantime, I thought we'd come in so that we can answer some questions, since Ag Draco 2 had a few questions. Yeah, that's true. Their players are amazing. I was just reading, sorry.
I'm also reading.
Yeah, they like to role play. They really get into their characters. Thankfully, it's not like slosh everybody. So, Malos, what kind of barbarian?
Draco? Let's go with Draco.
Okay.
Malos is a berserker, but he's got some interesting quirks that push him in other directions. It takes a lot for him to rage and go into all of that mode. It takes something. There's a very specific set of circumstances, let's say, that actually gets him into that mindset.
Awesome. Which the party hasn't seen quite yet. I'm eager to have, some of this explode at one point.
We got close a little earlier.
I was going to do what? Get this. Peeksy here. Okay, so wait, I'll just keep that up so I can remember it. Boom, 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 boom. Welcome back, Stan. Okay, we've got Sam and Melissa. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, hit us up. I was thinking that, Ed. Oh, don't give Nevik link ideas. Nah, nice, Frank. What is this? Uber raging table flip. I should probably do a quick Twitter post about, but I can't. It'll take that off.
Melissa, what's your shirt today?
What was the what? Sorry.
Melissa's shirt.
Oh yeah, what do we got? What about us? Nice.
It's from the Pink concert. I'll have more nerdy stuff to wear once it's getting warmer.
Right.
This is lovely Tatooine.
Ooh, nice. Speaking of warmer.
Nothing.
All right. What is our URL? No. Let me see who we've got back here. Before I tweet out that we're back from our break, I should probably actually check. Okay, just Sam. And what time is it? Okay, we'll jump back. It's been plenty of time. We're late. So
I don't know if you saw, but she had a baby upstairs.
Oh, okay. Thanks. All right. Yeah. That makes
Nevik, the storm clouds. I made these in After Effects, and I use OBS to push my video feed to Discord, so that I can do multiple cameras and stuff like that. So I have this for when I'm AFK. I have a dice cam, and I have me.
Oh no, noise. That's pretty cool, Ed. I didn't know that. Yeah, who exactly was in jail? Oh, so Frank, it was Emersina or Mia, and oh my gosh, I'm drawing a complete blank.
Mallows.
Thank you, Malice. Yeah. Like, what? I don't have my thing up. And Malos that were there. Emil found a safe escape during the quasi-battle. Kaylin flew in her broom and then off. So, Kaylin, you sort of, until you got to the Coliseum, the Crucible there, you had kind of places to hide. But once you got there, it was just too much open ground between any building and that building.
I think if at all possible, I probably would have stayed. Did I see them go into the building, or?
Yeah, you saw him being led through the
Kinda
Coliseum
go
that leads up
towards
to
there.
it. Mm-hmm.
I would say that she would probably kind of, if at all possible, kind of hang out. Maybe even if not flying, maybe land on or something and just kind of wait out until they come back out to make sure that they're safe. And if they didn't come back out, she would go and get help. But obviously they're going to come back out. So.
Okay. You find a nice safe pattern to sort of stay out of people's sight. Not many people are looking up like, hey, what's going on above us? And there's enough houses outside of the range of the Crucible to block and give you a fair bit of
good. Now I don't want to raise suspicion, but is using the broom, can they detect that as magic or no? Does it?
You're not sure. Okay.
All right, great. I'll just hang out where I'm at then, not knowing.
Okay. Actually,
I mean, I think that Kaylin realizes it's probably a risky move, but what's done is done. So
okay. Go ahead and do a fresh stealth check as you're sort of trying to stay out of sight for this part.
Why did I even say anything? Okay, all right.
But not at disadvantage because you're in the city and on a broom.
If you get caught, just tell somebody you're a window sweep or a chimney sweep.
There you go.
Chimney, at the broom.
All right, so 13 plus 2, so 15.
Okay. All right. To any potential people looking, they rolled a 2. So seem to be all safe for the duration of your flight around there.
Right.
After a while, you do finally see those 3 members of the party arrive, and they're only escorted to about the Coliseum part before the guards stop and let them turn around and head back. As you see beleaguered Malos clearly upset about something, and M and Ormia, sort of walking back out. It's not long before they're down in the streets between the buildings where you could potentially be like in an alleyway or just or you could land right in the street in front of them if you wanted to try that.
I don't want to land right in the street in front of them. That makes it a little too suspicious. I would just kind of like wherever I could that's safe, close, like in an alleyway or something, kind of go down to meet them in the street whenever they get to me.
Okay. So as the 3 of you are walking down, you only get about a block back into the city, heading north so you can go up and around or wherever it is you wanted to head. If you want to continue to the forge, it'll be like northeast from where you are. About a block in, you hear a psst, like a really loud psst from the alleyway. You glance over and you see Kaylin's bright red hair, or I'm sorry, she doesn't have bright red hair. It's like auburnish hair with some highlights, if I recall, from the sun. Psst. Broom in hand. And Ormia's not here, so it'd be more like, what Malos and M want to do.
Malos just ignores
Sorry,
me.
M has her
I think Malos would just balk.
Nice. Thanks. And what do you think? and would do if she heard Kaylin psting for you from the alleyway. Not psting in the alleyway. Not to be confused with you.
There's something falling from the sky. I turn towards the sound, and I would recognize the voice, because we've been together for a while. So, like,
Hey,
where'd you go?
I was trying to get out of the way. I thought you guys were running, and I was trying to get out of the way, and then I've kind of stayed and just to make sure that you guys came out okay. Is everything? She kind of looks around at everyone. Is everyone and sees Malus and just kind of like, is everyone okay?
Yeah, we're okay.
Yeah, we actually kind of more or less got off the hook.
That's
I wouldn't
amazing.
use that magic broom around here if I were you.
Oh, this thing? And she kind of stuffs it in her bag, kind of, Oh, yeah, of course. Just I was trying to find a way. Anyways, I'm glad you guys are okay. It's pretty incredible that they didn't punish you at all. Like,
They were gonna interrogate us, and apparently that included torture. But one of them stood up for us. So.
It was
wow.
still an excruciating inconvenience.
Yeah, it was kind of annoying.
Kaylin kind of looks over at Valis like, I'm sure it was. Anyways.
I'm not gonna deny that it wasn't annoying. But
Sure. Well, I'm just glad you guys are safe. I haven't seen Emil anywhere.
that's
And
no
she kind of
surprise.
looks around, eyes narrowed, still kind of looking around for him, kind of, but she was like, I'm sure that he's safe somewhere.
Most likely. He's good at that.
You hear a little ping, pang, ping, 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 as the sky starts to open back up with rain again.
It's like there's a grenade rolling into my feet.
Watch out!
Captain America jumps in.
Yeah. Nice. All right, let me jump back to, I guess, Felix, since you've been gone sort of from the beginning. So, Felix, you were heading to the tinkering shop. Was that where you were headed?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Okay, so you headed back to the hotel, and upon asking the concierge there which floor this is on, she gave you the info. Oh.
Did we get a name for her, for the concierge?
Oh, I don't think so.
No, I didn't get a name.
The mystery concierge. And Felix.
The awesome one.
Yes.
The patient one.
Connie, the concierge.
The
When you were all asked for your names on the initial train, when you arrived, did you give your name, Felix? I can't recall.
Oh, jeez.
I'll look if you can't remember. It's fine.
I want to say no, but I don't remember.
Wasn't he basically passed out and slumped over a shoulder?
I feel like he only got a name or two before Ormia persuaded him to drop it, and Malos persuaded. Forget who now, but okay. All right. Sorry. Side thought for something. Okay. So you arrive and you are at the tinkering shop, which is an entire floor. Even a bit larger than the one that you have rented out further up as the spire narrows a bit as it goes up. And there is a whole workshop section. There is a finished product section. There's like an engineering section. And you're sort of free as you walk around the inmost hallway. You can see it's broken up into these different sections as you walk around, and you can go into any one of these particular sections or look for something else if there's something specifically you want to look for.
Sure. I'm kind of looking for something custom to be made, so I'd probably find someone to help me.
Okay. There is an area that has essentially a service desk that you walk up to. And there's some young-ish gnome woman, so somewhere like 100 or under, And she has sort of a steampunk look. She's got, the sort of welding big glasses to protect her eyes from welding. And thanks for the follow, Draco. And this heavy leather apron over these thick leather gloves and jacket beneath that, long coat. It goes almost down to her ankles because she's so short. Yes, hello. How can I help you? She lifts it up. There's a bunch of the dirt and stuff around where the goggles were.
So Dan, is the counter really low, or is she on a step stool?
She's up on like an apple box or two. Yeah.
Hi, I'm looking for a couple of things. Let's start with the simple one.
Sure.
I'm looking to have a bookmark made, gold-plated if you can. Something relatively simple.
Certainly, it's doable.
Yeah, all
Simple
right.
task. Yes.
Would you mind putting a Warforged design on that?
Oh, wow! I don't get too many people that are familiar with Warforged. Huh.
Oh, so you know what they are. Yeah, that makes it easier on my part.
Yes, I'm familiar with the tales of Warforged. I've never seen one myself, of course, but intriguing.
I didn't know they had tails. Do they move on their own?
Just stories. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh,
Kind of looks like yes. But can do certainly. And what else? If that's the simple one, what is the other one?
Can you make little small automatons, like little clockwork?
If you're
Toys,
just
as it
looking
were?
for it to simply walk along the path you directed on, that's fairly simple.
Sure, maybe walk in a circle. I've seen
Yes.
in my hometown, I've seen things that if you wind it up using a key, it'll just walk around in a circle.
That's certainly manageable, yes.
Sure, let's keep the same theme for that one too.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, well, let's check rates.
Of course.
And she pulls a big, like a carpenter's pencil off her ear and pulls up some scrap paper and starts sort of trying to suss out the cost for these. So gold-plated bookmark, that would probably take smelting down maybe I don't know. I'm trying to think of how big the gold coins are. I'll say 2 in case there's some waste.
Sure.
Since it's smelting. 2 gold coins for the plated bookmark. That should cover the actual smelting as well as some of the cost. 2 engraving simple matter. The tiny warforged creature. Do you have a design in mind? How simple or complex would you like the design to be?
Probably more on the simple side. I kind of. Do you have a parchment and a quill? Maybe I'll sketch something out.
Certainly. She hands this. While you're used to using quills, this is lead encased in wood. It's like a rudimentary pencil, but it's a big honking one, like a garment's pencil. Here, yes. Requires no ink. Just please sketch it out as you wish.
I lick the tip out of habit. Starts.
Ouch! Yeah. Nice. Lead.
Kids, don't do that at home.
Yeah, Felix gets sick. Yeah, Constitution save. Just kidding.
And I just draw a really simple Warforged, kind of similar to the one that we saw at the beginning of our adventure.
Ooh, okay. All right, very neat. Oh, quite intriguing, yes. Well, I would say we'll need pockets and the timing belt and timing chain. Yes, well, I would say perhaps 5 gold for the smaller creature. Intricate inner workings. Will that do?
Could you do maybe the pair for 6 gold?
A shrewd one, aren't you? Yes, business is a bit slow now. Yes. Fair deal. 6 gold.
I'll go ahead and pay up in advance then.
Wonderful. And she just sort of pats an empty spot on a really messy, disheveled countertop here. Yes. Your name?
Felix, please. Felix Bargrim.
Thank you. She writes that down. And you can expect this. Oh, maybe day and a half, 2 days time. I work on a 2 or 3 day cycle and then sleep for a day. So you've caught me right at the beginning of this cycle, and I think I could get this to you in a day and a half, 2 days time.
Excellent. Well, we're staying in the hotel, so I'll stop by in a couple days.
Wonderful. Well, who is your host? And if you don't remember, oh my gosh, we're. Do I remember
That guy.
The guy with the face.
That one dude.
That guy with the face.
And the 2 eyebrows.
With the
and
face
the-
and ooh, Raybrick.
And he did the thing.
It's Raybrick.
yeah, Raybrick, of course. How could I have forgotten that?
Right? Such a common name, Raybrick Smith. Yeah. Just kidding. Raybrick. Well, I will alert him as soon as this is ready. Then, if you wish.
Oh, that's even more convenient.
Wonderful. Paid
Very much.
in full. She jots that down, and well, I will get to work right away. Thank you.
Great. See you soon. Thank you.
Indeed. And you head back up to the lobby. And Emil, you found your way, into the crowd there. What do you feel Emil would be doing in the meantime?
I mean, Emil's got a few things on his mind, so I don't know how much I'll have time before we kind of regroup up. But I guess I would still have some stuff back at the hotel, so I'm gonna go back to the hotel. I want to talk to, I think it was Crystal at some point was my contact, but I might wait to do that till afterwards unless I run into her. So my plan is I'm going to go back to the hotel, gather up all the stuff from my room, try and make it look like I wasn't there. And then I'm going to go back out to the city and I'm going to see if I can spot Seb as I head, I guess, towards the area that we last saw Felix's friend, and I'm going to try and find her.
Okay. Neat. Let's see. So Seb is definitely still tracking her. And that, I think, also gives you... Oops. God, I've got to do that in a different window. Let me quickly check the track. I think that you also get advantage. I guess just make a quick survival check with advantage to keep your eyes peeled for Seb.
All right. 8 or 7.
Well, let me just see how obvious. Oh, Seb's got your back. Okay. So it does take you a little bit of extra time, more so than you were thinking. But you do spot Seb. I mean, his outline in the sky, and there aren't really many birds like Seb around here. So it's pretty... Okay, there's Seb. Who is circling around a particular moderately shabby building in a fairly rundown part of the city.
Okay, so am I able to find, I don't remember if we got the young woman's name, but am I able to find her?
Yes. What was her name? Nell? No, it was... You don't happen to remember, do you, Felix?
I remembered all of last game. but I have since forgotten. Things at work filled my brain instead.
Right. All
You're
right.
talking about the girl?
Yeah.
Nala.
The thief.
That's right.
Okay. Neat. Yay. All right. So yeah, I mean, this looks like it used to be someone's place of business, but it's long since shut down. And there's a number of buildings like that around here. Some still have some business going on. Many are shut down. It's like an old mall.
Okay, so when I find her, is she kind of on her own, or is she kind of my crew? Because I kind of want a private conversation with her.
I'll say that you have time to sort of, look around the building and through windows and be roguish. And you see that initially she's with a couple people, but as you're casing the building, you see the two of them leave, and you find an opportunity to go in and address her alone.
Okay, when I do so, I will speak to her in Thieves' Cant.
Okay. As you approach, you have an entirely different conversation, just a very commonplace conversation, but in the entire time you're using hand gestures and keywords to convey whatever you'd like in Thieves' Cant.
Oh.
Okay, so basically, greetings, sister. I need to do some business with you if you're available.
She replies, I have nothing but time right now. How can I help?
I need two things from you. First of all, I need a reliable, safe place in which to store some of my gear for a few days. Maybe an in-room, maybe, some place that you're aware of. And the second is I would like to pay the guild fee to ensure that my gear and myself are not stolen.
She, let's see, what would be? That's a good question. Okay. She informs you of not an inn, but rather another building like this, where it looks sort of rickety on the outside, but there's a secure room inside where the Thieves Guild allows people to store their gear, some of their finds, and it's like an honor among thieves thing. But there's a lock supplied for each, individual person. In a fairly secure room inside a building that looks like it's just a rundown mess. And it's maybe a block and a half around the corner. She says she can see that the guild fee gets to the guild. Along with she asks, because I don't think she has your name, so she just asks for your name or how you would like to be presented to the guild.
I'll just give her the name Emil.
Okay. Fair enough. If there's anything else I can do, please let me know.
Nope, that's it. So I'll stow some gear in the kind of safe house place, just in case I need to leave town in a hurry. And I'll pay the fee, and we can work that out, in my inventory later. And then I'll head back to the hotel and look for Crystal, or look for, whatever teammates have not been arrested.
Okay. Neat. All right. Let's see. So Felix, you're in the hotel. Kaylin is now with everyone else. Are you all headed back to the hotel? Kaylin, Malos, and Ormia and
Either back to the hotel, or we were going to
the forge.
Going to continue to the forge.
Yeah, I think let's continue.
All right. So you are sort of at a crossroads, and you discuss that for a moment. Like, should we just head back to the hotel for now? Is the forge worth it? And decide on continuing on to the forge.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And so you arrive another several blocks. You continue northeast through the city, and you can tell it's the forge from down the street. There's not only the typical smell of a smithy and the dark smoke coming from the pipe stacks, the stove stacks above the building, but Kaylin, And even Emil, you feel this tingling sense you're not quite familiar with, but you sometimes have experienced near something arcane.
Is Emil there?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. He's going back to the other thing. My bad. Oh, get it together, Dan. Get it straight.
I do.
You recognize, you feel a boatload of arcane energy coming from within, Kaylin.
Right, from the forge. Okay. Well, it's an arcane shop, right?
Yeah, I mean, as you enter, you see there's a number of weapons and items in here. It's mostly like weapons and armor. There are some items as well. They're definitely all magical. And then there's some mundane stuff too, some regular armor and weapons as well.
Okay.
Ormia immediately like relaxes, just like walking in. It's like, oh, okay. Good.
Cling, cling. It's all the familiar sounds and
Just
smells.
The
Yep.
familiar sounds, the smell, the heat, just yes. Oh, this reminds me of just kind of stand in the doorway, just kind of smile for a little bit, just
I'll just stand outside.
Okay. You know what? Actually, Em, because you've been reading your book so much, you would have discovered in like the second chapter or so of your book, aside from some other just ordinary information, more on some of the very basics, boring history stuff. You got into the beginning of chapter 3, which starts talking about the rites that you've been interested in. And there's a number of different stages to this. But the very first one requires a sapphire worth at least 10 gold. And there's a little ritual that goes with it. Which they may or may not have here at the Forge.
I'll get up and kind of wander inside a little bit after realizing that. And
Okay. All right. So while you're looking around the inside, M, and Ormia's just sort of taking peace, respite in here. What did you want to do, Kaylin and Malos?
I'll also go ahead and have a look around.
Yeah, I think that Kaylin will look around, but she will ask the clerk if there are any books about arcane magic, like maybe beginner books.
Okay. You head up, and while there is sort of this very center of this is where a bunch of the work is actually being done. The outer circle of this entire area is sort of like the sales part, the sales front. One of the blacksmiths comes over, a dwarf, big, bushy beard, but it's all, you can see it stuffed down into one really tight, as tight as he can make it, braid in the front, says not to ignite. And he walks over on, with a bit of a limp in his right foot, approaches you, about roughly the same height, just a little shorter than you. Aye, lass, what can I do for you?
Hi, do you have any books that I can purchase regarding arcane magic, maybe beginner books?
Seeking the ways of magical crafting, are you?
I'm curious. Broadening my horizon, put it.
See. Well, the best advice I can give you is... first, you want to gain a proficiency in a base skill. Something like armor smithing, engineering, tinkering, something along those lines. And then you can build on that once you have an adequate understanding of that. You can start working with the magical aspect. But I do have a book. I just wouldn't advise attempting much until you I don't know what your skill level is at now, but I would recommend not trying anything from this until, you have some adequate skill in.
Okay, understandable. What book do you have?
Well, it's a simple treatise on... well, I had like a prop book around here. I don't anymore. Simple treatise on the skill of... oh my gosh. Of course I don't have it up in front of me. It's not alchemy. It's... I have the whole thing worked up too. Becoming an artificer.
An artificer?
Indeed, imbuing magic into items, crafting the item and imbuing magic into it.
Caitlin gets a little smile on her face, and she's like, "Can I see the book?"
I don't see why not. Fellow dwarf. And he walks, back into the shop and sort of out of sight for 2 or 3 minutes before coming back, carrying a rather large book that he sets down on the counter. Some of the ash and soot blows off the counter into my throat, apparently. He opens it up, and here you go. You can take a browse if you like. I've got
Caitlin flips through a few of the pages. How much is this book? Are you selling it?
I've got a number of copies for any apprentices I take on, but I'd say maybe 10 silver pieces.
Caitlin looks down at the book. I'll take it.
Deal.
All right.
If you ever want any tips or anything like that after learning some from this here book, stop in and see me, would you?
Okay. Caitlin gets 10 silver out of her pocket. She's like, "I definitely will." She gives him the silver. Reaches her hand out to shake his hand, and what's your name?
Grickhorn. Folks call me Grickhorn. I'm the master craftsman here. You have a hard time not finding me, I think.
Could you repeat that, Dan? I'm sorry.
Oh, sure. It's
for me.
Grickhorn. Grikhorn.
And it's cutting out again.
Oh, I'll put it in Facebook.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Caitlin introduced, she was like, "Well, I'm Caitlin. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I thank you so much for having this book here. You have a very nice shop."
Thank you kindly. You have a good day, lads. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
The same. And she goes and walks around with Ormia or something.
Okay.
Hey, Dan.
I'm not. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask,
Yeah.
Does the book say anything
Thank you,
about a cut sapphire or an uncut sapphire?
A raw sapphire, uncut sapphire. Mm-hmm. And you do see a small selection in wooden bins in that counter that is around the center where they're working. On the front, the shop side, there's a bunch of different bins with some raw materials for sale. And you do come across some uncut sapphires.
Excuse me, sir.
He's the same guy comes over that was working with Kaylin a moment ago. Comes over, gets a rag, wipes his hands. "Aye, lass, what can I do for you?" Actually, he's looking up at you.
Might I ask, how much are these uncut sapphires?
Working with some minerals, are you? Some precious gems? Well,
Yeah.
these are just very standard ones. Is probably smaller than the ones you used to seeing, but they're good for working into other materials. You're looking at about 10 gold pieces for that uncut sapphire.
I'll take one.
Fair enough.
Just real quick, Dan, did it say anything about size, or does it not matter?
It gave some dimensions in there, and this is adequate. It fits those dimensions, and then a little more. Anything else I can get for you, lass?
No, thank you.
Fair enough.
But thank you.
Okay. And he heads back to...
Actually, before he walks away.
Yeah. He stirs
So
around.
I heard you say you're the head craftsman here.
Aye.
I believe I have an interesting project for you.
That's so.
I'll pull out my pistol.
Okay.
Ever seen anything like this?
Oh, well.
Hand it over.
Magnific. A fine piece of work. I can't say that I have. Heard someone talking about something familiar once ages ago. Aye.
Yes, it uses it's a projectile it's a projectile weapon in a way, and I was hoping either you or maybe someone you could point me to could teach me a way to create ammunition for it.
Well,
I have some smithing experience myself, but like I found this in my family's it was in the attic, and picked it up, and I've become fairly good with it.
I see. Well, if I could have maybe half an hour with it or so, I think I can figure out what it requires. And do you have any of the ammunition already? That would make it a little faster for me.
Yeah, I'll hand over like 5 of them.
Ah.
And I do have a bigger gun.
Ah, that's so.
I'll probably bring down later if you can figure out the ones for these ones.
Nice.
I don't have it with me.
I see.
I was specifically not carrying it around.
Nice, yeah. So he examines the bullets. Oh, I see powder. Interesting. I've got a tool. Yeah. I would say give me about still about a half an hour, I think, and I think I can whip something up and then show you the process.
Do you mind if I watch?
Not at all. Go around the corner. There's a bench you can lift. Come on back. Put an apron on and...
Yeah, I'm already there.
Nice. You know the drill. You walk in, you put all the gear on.
Yeah.
And so, Kaylin and Em are sort of, they're still in there, looking around at just some of the wonderful magical items. And Ormia, you go kind of through the process.
Ormia is happily getting dirty.
Nice, yeah. He finds a couple tools that he thinks will work. Some of them do, some of them don't. So he pulls out some other tools until he finally gets sort of a setup with some fairly basic tools from a blacksmithing kit. And he says, well, they use the black powder we don't store here. And he sends one of his guys out, to get some. That'll be the most difficult part, measuring that out. But here's how I think they're expedient way to shape them. And he puts them on a little tool and hammers it out a little bit with a ball peen hammer and this sort of pliable metal that he has. And he kind of goes down the list of what he's doing and then has you put one or two together without the powder before finally adding the powder and saying we should probably give these a test if you're willing.
I am definitely willing, trying not to look too eager.
Nice.
Giggles like a little schoolgirl.
Awesome. You walk around the back and there's this open section with a couple big bales of hay and some big logs and stuff, and he sets up a couple logs in this 3 deep, 3 tall. And you want to do the honors, or would you prefer I do for safety?
I would love to.
All right, go ahead.
Test her own work, right?
Yeah, just make a straight up attack.
Father made me test my swords all the time when I was young. An attack with the pistol, that's an 18.
Okay, as long as it's not a 1, yeah.
Do I have to roll for exploding?
Fires right through the center log and goes through like 2.5 of the logs he had set up. He goes and starts, deconstructing the pile before finding. He holds up that log. Oh, it's made it all the way back to this one. That's an amazing. Oh, I really interested in seeing what the other gun, the larger gun, does. We're gonna need more logs, I think.
Well, it's about the size of my arm. We'll need a lot.
Oh, lass. Oh, that's. Get that back here as soon as you can, would ya?
Yes, sir. And really quick, have you heard of this name? And I'll show him the Firehide Steel. I believe this is the crafter.
Oh, now that name I have heard of, indeed.
Yeah?
Haven't seen or heard anything from him for quite some time. Got a whole rumor mill around him. Some folks say he up and died. Other folks say he faked his death and retired. And still other folks have even more mysterious circumstances surrounding his disappearance. Fine crafter. Worked in the arcane crafting, much like myself. Quite a bit of renown around him, but no work in considerable years. I think it was a while, like 50 or 100 years, I forget.
Something like that. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yes, he was last I'd heard. He was planning on going to Tegradoth to research some form of ice-based magic with the Dragonborn up there, and then he was planning on visiting the Bon Lodir. Heard he was going to, I can't, Calderul, I think, is the name of that underground city. Caitlin, that you would be familiar with, although they're in the back, so I guess you wouldn't hear them. Yeah. Ancient craftsmen down there wanted to return and had some notions of rekindling their once great empire of crafting and selling fine items.
Oh. Okay. Interesting. Huh. Well, thank you. How long are you going to be here?
I'm here most of the day. I sleep here up in my bunk up above at night. So
done that before myself. Yes, I'll bring the big one by later then.
Wonderful. Okay.
And I will leave, and I will have like soot all over my face, and I will just look like a happy child.
Nice.
I got to spend.
Okay. So are you all, Em and Kaylin, do you have anything else you want to do here at the Forge, or do you want to head back to the hotel, or anything else?
I would go ahead and start heading back.
I'll head back as well.
All right, I'm gonna say it's getting later on in the day anyway, and like mid-afternoon, like 4 o'clock or so, probably. It's getting near that time to eat, and and come on, another camera. Here we go. There it is. Oh, it's a baby. So cute. All right, so I think around this point, everyone will probably be getting back to the hotel, and it's around dinner time in case anyone was going to end up in the cafeteria. But let me know what you guys want to do. You're all sort of back at the hotel, bound to bump into each other here at some point, likely near or in the cafeteria.
I'll just go straight up to my room and just order in. And just kind of stay there the rest of the evening.
All right, I'll say, if you're opening up your book and looking at that in more detail now that you have the item, go ahead and make, I guess start with an Arcana check, if you would, because it's sort of magic-based as part of the rite.
11.
Okay. You understand the basic principles behind, what needs to be done for this ritual. There is, some magic involved, and you have your nature-based magic to use. Let's see. The ritual involves 4 people in total. You. And then there's sort of a rune that you need to draw on a ground somewhere. It could be chalk. It gives a number of easy to find things to draw it with. And 3 people to form a triangle essentially around this circle with you in the center. There's a little chanting. There's a repeated verse in there. And it's supposed to be the opening the gateway for the other rites. This is how it's referred to in the book.
Does it matter what race the people are, or does it have to be...
It does not. Nope. It could be anyone. It talks about unlocking the heritage, too, is another term it references in there. So while M heads upstairs, everyone else, you find yourselves back. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think Caitlin's going to go to the cafeteria and get something to eat.
Neat. Food is, on the house here because you've been comped for a long time. Everything's been paid for by Mouse's mother. Yeah, so can get...
Which only means Caitlin is going to take full advantage of that. So
nice.
She's gonna order, she's pretty hungry,
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, she's gonna order a nice 3-course meal. Yeah.
Awesome.
Plenty of rolls.
Mm-hmm. More rolls.
Plenty of honey bread. Yeah.
Awesome. There's plenty of that, and meat and drink and whatever Caitlin wants. They essentially
while she'll break out while she's eating. She'll break out her book and start flipping through it and just kind of looking at it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I don't think that they would get that quick. Okay. So what does everyone else want to do?
I would like to get my armor cleaned.
Okay. That if you can stop at the front desk and you just this is
No. No. I go up to the room.
Okay.
Floor.
Ding, ding, ding,
And
ding.
I will be waited on. Yes.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yes.
You settle in and just chuck your armor. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. Joffrey, comes in looking down. Yes, sir. How may I help you, sir?
See to it that my armor is cleaned. I will need it back in the morning.
Certainly, sir. I was lifting it, sort of trying to get it out towards the hallway and on a cart. Gets it all set up on the...
And where is my painting? I had a painting delivered.
Oh, yes, sir. We were given strict instructions not to open it and to make sure that you are present when it enters the room. I will bring that back. I will get this to the cleaners and have it cleaned and buffed and return with the painting. Is that...
Good, be gone.
Oh, good. Good, thank you, sir. Thank you. And lowers his head and walks out and comes back 15 minutes later with another cart that has, this massive, probably 4.5 feet wide by 6.5 feet tall or 7 foot tall, huge, ornate frame around it, painting of you, super muscular you. Mm-hmm.
There's only one way in and out from the magic portal elevator thing, right?
Yes.
What on earth is that?
You all see it going by as it's going towards the elevator.
Caitlin looks up, piece of roll dropping from her mouth. Like,
I'm gonna run after it. Like, what?
Mouse got turned into a painting.
No. That's that. That.
Poof, goes in the elevator, goes up.
See to it that this is displayed so that all may revel in my beauty as they get off the elevator.
Oh, you want it hung right here, sir?
Yes, please.
Certainly, yes. And he calls out the other two, Crystal and the staring woman. I can't think of her name. And they... Oh, thanks. They work together and sort of get it, it takes extra time because you're like, it's crooked. Yes, sir. And you're just like, it's this little millimeter that they keep going back and forth. And until it's just right. But then is there enough lighting for this? And you make them go get lights and then...
And I imagined it a little to the left.
Yeah, it's almost like hooded lanterns that are tipped up at it to just give it all this illumination when they get off the elevator. You can't miss it. You get off the elevator, it's right there. Takes up most of the wall in the hallway. Yeah, and it's all set up.
As we get off the elevator, and you're like, "Okay, remind me always to get food in my room now because I don't want to be ill coming up to our floor and getting out of the elevator."
Awesome. Get muscular Malos with weapon in hand.
So is it just Kaylin who's eating in the main dining hall?
yes. Well, so far, unless someone else is as well.
Okay, I think Emil will join her and probably sit across the table from her. I don't know if she'll notice. Maybe her nose is in the book, but he'll just grab some food and then just sit across from her quietly.
Yeah, she'll notice. Kaylin will kind of look up at you. Or she looks up at Emil and kind of like out the side of her eyes and looks back down her book. I trust you had a pleasant afternoon.
I noticed you're not in prison.
No. Would have known if you would have stuck around.
Do you know how I survived on the streets of my hometown? By thinking before acting. We walked out there as a group, knowing that there was a group out there after us for using magic. We walked up to them and said, "Here we are." Emeracina cast a spell. You used a magical item. I don't think that was a good case for somebody who was actually trying to survive with their brains by hanging around to see what happens next. I think we played that about as poorly as we could possibly have played that. And I am very glad to see you not in prison, but I'm also at least a little surprised.
Kaylin's still looking down at her group. Not really. I mean, kind of looks up at him a few times. I had a few trepidations about this group when I first joined. But I think that we've been traveling together enough time that when some of them are in trouble, I stick around. Even though it's not in my nature to do so. Because that's what friends do for each other. Kaylin will close her book, get her stuff, and leave.
I walk away. All right. Okay.
Emil will eat some dinner.
All right. Emil gets his food. All right. Neat.
Serious conversation that I wasn't a party for once.
That's really neat. Okay. Let's see. Well, I mean, if did you have anything else you wanted to do tonight, knowing about your ritual, or are you sort of done for the night?
Oh, I'm done. I'm good.
Okay. If no one has anything else they want to,
I'm gonna go back down to the porch and show the big gun to
Okay.
what's his face. We don't have to go through that, but like just like
Okay. Yeah, you have a lot of fun, like creating some bullets and firing those off. And Emil?
Yeah.
I
And
sort of-
also, this is a step into me wanting to like get into the blacksmithing,
Okay.
like get the actual
Okay, neat.
the skill.
Neat. Okay.
That's
Good
the
to
word.
know.
I do want to give Crystal an update as to what happened today, partially just because I'm now a little bit more worried that, you know, the Unity Knights are going to come after us, and partially also because she gave me a quest to go out and try and find more about, you know, why the nobles and the knights were at arms, and in terms of my personal responsibility, which hasn't really been communicated with the group, but we completely failed at that today. Like that didn't happen at all. So I kind of want to let her know about that. So
Okay. You settle in then and give her that information, and she makes a suggestion that there's an let me see if I got it in my notes here. There's a noble that lives reserves the penthouse, and they are one of the leaders of this whole noble regime, basically the whole noble side of the city. And let me see if I have that. Okay, she gives you the name Theodas Balek, which is Theodas Baylek, and I can put that in Facebook later too if you want. Who's essentially like the head honcho for the nobles here. Wealthy beyond wealthy, reserves a penthouse and sometimes stays there. And she, references Ormia and Malos, saying perhaps, again, maybe they can get access to that person and sort of play to their nobility.
Yeah, I definitely still intend to leverage Ormia and Malos to try and make contact with the noble side of the city.
Neat. And she's a little brash, but still reassuring. Like, we have days like this; things go sideways sometimes. So, just do her best the next day.
One last question. I mean, if it had come to blows with the Knights of Unity, I mean, is that the equivalent of attacking and killing a guard, or is it a little bit murkier what the penalty would be for something like that?
She says, you would have been, essentially well known on anywhere on that side of the city. You probably would have been tracked into even the west side here, like you were when you all arrived. And probably would have been best to leave the city at least, if not the kingdom. If anyone had been killed, she does remark on their strength. She says they're typically very well trained and fairly strong. So she's also relieved that no one ended up hurt.
All right, I'll try and pass that warning on to my companions, so that hopefully next time it won't happen. But if it does, we'll make an informed decision. Thank you.
Yeah. She heads out, and Zella, thanks for the follow.
I think that Kaylin has went up to her room, but she's just going to, just a little character note, going to sit there and just kind of think about her words with Emil and what she said, and just and just the reaction that she had
Mhm.
to disappearing, and that it bothered her so much,
Mhm.
because she's not used to being around groups of people, because she was raised on the outskirts with her parents, with her elven parents. So she's just kind of thinking about that, and whether she thinks it's a good or a bad thing that she's becoming so attached to these people, and just kind of considering that a bit.
Okay.
So,
Restless night. All right. Ooh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good. Ooh. Okay. All right, let me see. It was around noon, Felix, that you talked to the Tinkerer. Yeah, let me... Okay. All right. So morning comes around. Everyone's fully rested, which reminds me I need to do that for the... Here. So everybody's fully rested. And let me do one more roll because it's possible. All right. What do you all want to do in the morning as you all begin to wake up?
Breakfast?
Okay, there's a morning call around the floor for breakfast time.
I'll go down and eat breakfast.
I'm eating in my room because I don't want to have to see that painting.
You order up. Okay.
She saw it in her dreams all night long.
Yes.
And I thought I had nightmares before.
Nice.
This is
Awesome.
worse than the compass. Which she now remembers that Emil still has. But that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
Felix is going to fully intend to go to the kitchens to cook food. Comes across the painting by the elevator, and instead takes the elevator to the tinkerer's floor. He wants to buy some glass and some string and a marker of magic.
Okay. You find all that's pretty basic stuff. I'd say you go down there. You're able to get those supplies for maybe like 3 silver in total.
I'll mark that off. And he's going to draw a very extravagant mustache on the pane of glass.
Yes, I was totally wondering to do that.
And then hang it in front of the painting.
Okay.
Crooked.
You get it hung there until you get it just right. You're like, yeah, there it is. Awesome. Definitely has a loop in it, and like frizzy at the very ends. It's great. It's magnificent. Neat. Are you heading down to breakfast after that, Felix?
Yeah. After all that, he decides that he doesn't want to cook. He'll just have whatever's being offered.
Okay. You get off the elevator in the cafeteria, the lobby level, and there's a person that is leaning up against the wall, maybe like 15 feet down, sort of just flipping a coin. And, walks over to you and sort of bumps your shoulder a little bit. I'm sorry, Felix.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looks around. Actually, I'm gonna do a perception. Okay, he's really perceptive. I'm a member of the Night Cloaks, and this under his arm, he passes you an envelope. Delivery for you.
I grab it and just tuck it in my cloak.
Whoever sent this paid top notch to get it here ASAP. So just see that it's in good shape and intact, if you would, and then I can be on my way.
I take a quick peek. Is there a seal on it?
Yep, it's in perfect condition, sealed, and very well.
Considered it signed, sealed, and delivered.
Thank you, sir. Oh, my apologies, sir. Good day to you. And he just turns and walks off.
Felix skips breakfast entirely. He's gonna go back to his room.
Okay. You head back up to your room. There's no markings on the outside of this envelope. Do you want to open it up and check it out? I figure.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. There's a letter opener on a desk that's in the room here.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Awesome. So you cut open the seal and carefully take out the letter within. It's folded in 3, and open it up. And I didn't have time to actually write one this time, so I'm just going to have to, if that's all right with you, I'll just tell it. It is indeed from, now I'm thinking Malos instead of...
Morik.
Morik,
Right.
thank you. Wait, what is it? And a letter from him. It starts off very friendly as per usual. Dear Felix, once again, our benefactor has managed to either threaten or pay off a guard to give me a short amount of time to message you. Things have grown worse here in Bridgeport. Those that hold the town have extended their reach now to the city of Bexley. The Mages University was dismantled after it was found to be conducting illegal experiments, and being too far from the mainland, they opted to shut it down, or so is the word on the street. After the Mage's departure, our friends, in quotes, expanded their reach and took control. I fear matters are only getting worse. I'm glad I was afforded this opportunity to send this message. I am well as those we care about, but the situation grows more dangerous and more dire by the day as we are no longer needed for the regular maintenance tasks and daily tasks required. There's an entire city to supply such things now. Most of them do not appreciate all that we do to work against them. I do not mean to rush. Certainly not. But I felt it important you know the current nature of things here. I do hope that you are alive and well, and that this letter finds you in good health. Sincerely. Signs a very elaborate name at the end.
Normally I would just probably burn this, but since this kind of involves the rest of the group, because we're in Bexley earlier, and this kind of uncovers a little bit of the plot of why the university was doing weird things in the very beginning of the campaign. I'm probably gonna have to bring it up, but he's just gonna sit there for a little bit, pondering it, the next move, as it were.
Okay. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Oh,
I did want to add before that
please.
Kaylin walks down off the elevator, sees the mustache on the painting. Nice. And she saved a roll from last night. She kind of stops and looks in at the cafeteria where everyone's sitting, and just keeps walking outside.
Oh, okay.
To eat her roll kind of privately.
That's so good. Awesome. I love all the growing and conflict and stuff. Yay. Awesome. Okay. Nightbot is everywhere. Oh, hey, Dork Mortal. Yeah, Nightbot is on his timer and it's just going crazy. It's supposed to be like a half an hour, but... Okay, well, thank you, players, for another really fun night, and looking forward to next week where things might blossom and or blow up a little more. we'll see how that goes. I'll try, and it'll be a little faster pace likely next week, but you know, we'll see how it all goes based on what you guys are up to.
Are we going to host anyone, Dan? Sorry.
Yes, please. What do you think? So for those that are in chat, we'll wrap up here, but then I'm going to go ahead and we've been considering raiding another channel. You certainly, I mean, you're welcome to stay and raid with us for a bit and catch up with another D&D related stream. Certainly don't have to either, of course. Let me check Facebook and see what we were thinking, because I think you would... Yeah, let's let me just see if I can just remember how to do this. So I'm gonna have us raid them, but in the meantime, thank you so much, chat as well. Fantastic tonight as always. Love reading all your comments, and you're really so interactive. It's fantastic. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do the raid. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, please feel free to join our Discord where we post lots of things and fun behind the scenes stuff, and our weekly streams as we upload them to YouTube and such. And I'm gonna go send us over to, what is this, Geek Space TV. Make sure I typed it all in right. Okay, so I'm gonna send us to Raid Geek Space TV, and I guess I'll catch you all there. Thank you, players. Thank you, chat. You guys are all awesome, and I love playing this game with you every week. It's so great. All right,
Thanks,
here we... Yay! See ya. Well, we'll catch you over there in at Geek Space TV. Here we go. Thanks. Okay.